Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yoshi the Oreo here. So, I decided to do a little bit something different here, and you guys let me know in the comment section if you like this form of video format. I just wanted to go ahead and make a video on this little dipshit right here, Mr. Sahar TV. He runs this channel on YouTube. He's a pro-Israel content influencer who talks about Israel and all this other stuff. And I understand like that whole shtick, especially with like Muslim individuals infiltrating the Western societies and trying to implement Sharia law and stuff like that. I understand that. I understand that. But there's also another issue that I have with people who have a mentality such as this. And these types of people, and he represents one of these types of people who believes they live in a left type of right dichotomy where all the good people are on this side and all the bad people are on this side. So let's say, for instance, on this graph, all the pro Israel people are on this side and all the people who hate Israel is on this side, right? So anyone who hates Israel is on this side and anyone who loves Israel is on this side. The issue that I have with people like this, especially with like identity politics, I really hate identity politics. Anyone with this dichotomy, what ends up happening is they become so narrow-minded to the point to where their enemy then becomes their friend. So what do I mean by that? Well, this man on his channel, Sahar TV, not only has one instance of supporting his enemy, but also two instances of supporting his enemy based off of this demographic. And he ends up supporting Milo Yiannopoulos and Andrew Williams. Now, a lot of you may know something about Milo Yiannopoulos, but for those who don't know, he actually is a white supremacist. This man actually does have a background. He does the exact same thing Tucker Carlson does with promoting white nationalism by laundering those ideas through conservative talking points. He just does the exact same thing that Tucker Carlson does. And you can tell like this person under no circumstances does any research. And this is why I'm very skeptical of a lot of people in the culture war, because Milo is a very well-known activist in terms of like white nationalism. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you can tell like this man does no research whatsoever because he ends up saying some goofy ass stuff in this video like this.
By an activist called Milo Yiannopoulos. If I'm not saying his name correctly, correct me in the comments. And he's having a debate about Islam with a Muslim who seemed to modernize, right? But he destroys her entire argument in one simple sentence. Watch. Hi.
And I'll leave the video in the description, and you guys can watch that. But this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to people like this guy up here who has this mindset. He doesn't have this mindset where the outside, the black rim, the perimeter is Milo versus someone within it would be like, well, I don't support Israel because I believe like they're ushering in the Antichrist and they're actually like the cause of cultural degeneracy or anything like that. It's just they don't want to deal with wars and stuff like that. That's a very sensible argument. The problem is that Milo to Sahar TV is representative in this type of spectrum as opposed to the outer rim of the spectrum. He can't separate the two. And just because he's making the Muslim woman look like an idiot for supporting something that quite literally oppresses her, he's taken Milo's side despite the fact that he's a gay white supremacist that just wants the same model that Islam has just for white people. And if you don't believe me on Milo being a creep, like it's more than the fact that he's just gay and a white supremacist. The guy's also a freaking hold on. The guy is also a freaking pedophile. And if you think I'm joking, like a lot of people in this guy's comment section, they have no idea who the hell this motherfucker is. Like, they have no idea. No one in his comment section is saying anything about him. Like, they just think he's just fighting the good fight. It's like, no, that guy's a plant. He's a literal plant. You gotta be. I'm the only one that's pointing out the fact that he's a groiper. That Milo Yiannopoulos is a groiper. Like, he is in fact a groiper. And if you have any questions about him being literally a creep, this is literally him being a creep on Joe Rogan's podcast, where he says some goofy ass shit here. Now, I'm going to play at the beginning, and I want you to pay attention to when he's talking about like some type of leftist journalist that he was exposing for being a pedophile.
In order to make those arguments, though, it is one long practical joke, that site. It is just a gigantic piece of satire. I'm convinced it's funded by the Koch brothers to discredit liberalism. I'm convinced.
Really?
I'm absolutely convinced. If you trace the Salon money back far enough, you will discover the surname Koch, because it is the only explanation for how badly Salon discredits progressivism. It is the only explanation. Just today, they published another editorial from this fucking paedophile, who I wrote about, and he wouldn't even dare bring my name up because he's too scared to get into it with me because he knows he'd lose. He published this thing about how, I'm a paedophile, but I don't act on it. Right after I'd exposed a paedophile, Sarah Nyberg, in Gamergate, right, and it went all over the world, and it was this huge story that I broke.
Hold on.
Then, I'm going to start the beginning. I exposed this.
You exposed a pedophile.
I exposed this pedophile. She was backed up, and all the social justice warriors doubled down and protected her because she was, on message. Basically, she had the right politics, so they stuck her for a kiddie fiddler. This is the state of the modern left. Directly after that, with coincidental timing, Salon publishes this thing by a pedophile saying, "Oh, I'm a pedophile, but I don't act on it," which is precisely the defense that this person had used. So I respond, and I did a very good piece, and I urge all of your listeners to seek it out because it really is excellent journalism. It was called something like "This is why the left," so this is why progressives stick up for pedophiles. Explains why pedophiles can get away with this stuff and why progressives and liberals back them.
Okay, so that's him talking about a leftist pedophile. Now, I'm not defending that person because I don't know who the fuck they are, and I never actually did the research on that person. But in the event that they are what he says that they are, I disavow those types of people. Now, if you fast forward, he says some goofy ass stuff like this.
Well, right and wrong as far as what is right and what is wrong. No, I got lucky. They beat me a little bit.
What do you mean you got lucky? You got unlucky. You didn't get that taste of... no, just like I said earlier, if it weren't for Father Michael, I would have given far less good head. I mean,
there was a real Father Michael?
So much less... he's going to get killed now, but...
Who was Father Michael?
I'm not... No, I bet...
Was a real dude? I should maybe suck his dick, for real?
Don't make me. I was quite enthusiastic about it. I thought my English teacher too.
How old was he at the time?
I don't know. He was quite young, quite hot.
Really?
Yeah.
And so that's where it all started? With Father Michael?
No.
Was that post the tranny?
Yeah, it was post. So
thing?
I wasn't abused
queen?
As a child or anything like that.
So
it was quite a.
You already had the five-some, and you're like, "This is all wrong. I need to talk to Father Michael." He's like, "Suck my dick and shut the fuck up." And you're like, "Religion is awesome."
You see, I really had no hope, did I? I was never going to end well.
Well, it seems like you kept stumbling into dicks. I mean,
I just
don't
kept
know.
falling on them through life.
I don't know what would have happened if a heterosexual man like me,
30 years, I've just been falling on dicks,
was in the same circumstances as you early on. I mean, obviously things would have went very different. So I'm not sure if I buy the not born this way.
You'd go down great in a gay club.
Go down?
Well, I mean, you'd go down. We have is that a British expression? You go down well?
No,
I don't mean oral sex.
Much. Yeah.
So go down well means you'd be popular. You'd
go
get
down
attention.
Well would be like the way you would describe a meal or a drink.
Oh, like it goes down well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we
like taking the piss.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get what the hell.
Right.
That
like,
meant.
do you want a cup of my? Yeah. Which again is another thing gay people seem disproportionately into.
They're into peeing on each other.
Well, there seems to be
it's all sin.
Water sports.
It's all decadence. It's all against the Lord.
This is what I'm saying. People are only.
Milo, you would know. You're a former leftist. You came from that space, so you would know. So I find it very fascinating that a person, like, don't get me wrong, I am against pedophilia, But let me really explain the phenomena that we're going through. We're in a country where the act of having sexual relations with a child is not the crime. The crime is the act of pedophilia not supporting the political movement. Because Milo is right. In a way, yes, leftists do protect pedophiles, but they protect international pedophiles. And if you actually look at the act of pedophilia at a global use, not like an individual case, look at it from a global use. The global use of pedophilia is a very powerful tool in terms of international communism and attacking the white race and dwindling the white numbers down. But it's also a very useful tool for boosting the population of white people. So Milo, as a white nationalist, would support pedophilia so long as the act of pedophilia would guarantee a white baby. He wouldn't support the left version of it because, well, that's antithetical to his position and it doesn't support his political nationalist beliefs. So he would have to be against it, not because of the act itself, but because it does not support his political dogma. And a lot of people don't really realize that Milo ended up getting fired from Breitbart because he kept peddling white nationalist ideas through his journalism. And here's an article from BuzzFeed that actually covered the whole thing. And the type of people he would push would be people like Devin Saucer. And it says right here, for nearly a decade, Devin has been established himself as one of the bright young things in American white nationalism. In 2008, while in Vanderbilt University, Saucer founded a chapter of the defunct white nationalist student group Youth for Western Civilization, which counts among its alumni the white nationalist leader Matthew Hembach. Richard Spencer called him a friend. He is associated with the Wolves of Vinland, a Virginia neo-pagan group that one reporter described as a white power wolf cult, one member of which pleaded guilty to setting fire to a historic black church. For the past several years, according to an observer of far-right movements, Saucer has worked as an assistant to Jared Taylor, possibly the most prominent white nationalist in America. According to emails obtained by BuzzFeed News, he edits and writes for Taylor's magazine, American Renaissance, under a pseudonym. In the October 2016 emails, Milo Yiannopoulos described the 28-year-old Saucer as his best friend. And you can go back and read that article if you want, but if that's not proof enough, I mean, look at this. Any reason why you got a bunch of goofball crackerhead ass motherfuckers in the audience sticking their hand out like this? I'm just saying, like, look right here. What's this? I'm just saying, what is this? You tell me, guys, what does that look like? Oh, there's just two people. They're just two people. That doesn't really mean anything. That doesn't really mean that doesn't really mean anything. Okay, what about 1, 2, 3? Wait, hold on. Because it extends a lot more. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of, and notice how like there's a lot of dudes that do it. There's really no females in there, which kind of supports my theory on why they would actually allow white pedophilia. I like how towards the end he tries to sing like a black person. Now, going back to Sahar TV, I don't think he's just being malicious and he's doing the same thing like Tucker Carlson is doing. I think what he's doing is he's just a content creator that's just focusing on just making the content. And clearly this man does not do any research on who he covers, because this isn't the first instant he has done this. He's also done this twice with this motherfucker, Mr. Andre Williams, who, just because he antagonizes Muslims, means he's a good guy.
People told him, go back home. Well, maybe you should go back home to your home in Arabia, because that's where you're from. You racist mofos.
Also, let me go ahead and say this right now. If you're not gonna say anything when you're watching a video, could you at least like hide like your camera of yourself? Because how can I say this? In context of who you're promoting here, right? Like this motherfucker, who is anti-Semitic, by the way. He actually is anti-Semitic, and I'll show you later on. You look like a dumbass when you're kind of looking there smug. Because, oh, look, it's a black brother right there defending his identity to be black, be standing against the Muslims. Again, and I keep saying this. This is why I don't abide by identity politics. Because this is what happens. You end up siding with your enemy, right? You end up siding with your enemy because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Friend-enemy distinction. Oh, my enemy does something against my other enemy, so because he did this, therefore he's my friend, despite the fact that both of these people quite literally peddle anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, such as the dancing Israelis, which, yes, he does, because here's his channel, Andre Williams, right here, right? That's his face. This is his live stream. This is his channel. Peddles anti-Semitic conspiracy theories such as the dancing Israelis.
Dominic Suter, you would have brought him up. You didn't bring him up. You brought up the 5 hijackers. Excuse me. You brought up the 5 that were detained.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't bring up. You didn't bring up Dominic Suter.
You just don't know what you're talking about,
you
brother.
You did not bring up Dominic Suter. You brought up 5 people that were detained. These dancing Israelis. That was it. That were deported to Israel. And 2 of the brothers were a part of the IDF. What are you talking about?
Okay, let me clarify something for you. When you say something like 2 of the brothers were a part of the IDF, that's like, for example, an American going to Israel, going to Russia, going to China, and let's say we had mandatory conscription service for all men, just all men, not even girls, all men. It wouldn't be surprising if Chinese officials found out that, oh, he's actually in the U.S. military, because in the U.S., according to this hypothetical, all men would serve in the military regardless. So if Dominic Suter or any of the 5 men served in the IDF, why would that be surprising? You have to serve in that country.
Wasn't one of the 5 men detained. The 5 men detained in the FBI report.
You're so silly.
These guys were not. Who's silly? You're not even following the argument because you talk too much. You're not even saying a logical point. So let's go back to it. Dominic Suter fled to police officers, detained them, and talked to them. And guess what? Their stories didn't even line up. Their stories didn't even line up. And this is why. Hold on. Go ahead. Bring it up.
This is the only image that we have of them. Are they dancing?
Fuck out of here. You're fucking retarded, dude. You're literally retarded, bro. No fucking way you're retarded. Are they dancing?
Hold on, TikTok. Let me show you this really quickly so you guys can see how dumb this guy is.
And yes, he really is retarded. Because then this guy, I don't know his name, he ends up like catching him being a hypocrite later on in the live stream. And let me show you that right here. When it comes to Jews, automatically they are the enemy of America. It doesn't matter ifs, ands, or buts about it. However, when a white couple stands in front of the burning towers, for some reason, Mr. Andre Williams here cannot, under no circumstances, identify whether or not that these people are smiling.
And holding
those look like fucking lefties that are probably like happy, or I don't know.
Okay, great. Are they smiling?
I don't think they're smiling. No, I think that bitch's mouth.
Hold on. Let's make it easier for you. She's not smiling?
That looks like fucking. Is that Kurt Cobain? Holy shit.
Is she smiling? Are they smiling?
That must be the dude from Bluetooth. I mean, Bluetooth. I don't know.
Are they smiling?
Are these two lefties smiling? I mean, yeah, dude, these lefties are.
We don't know their political ideologies, but they were smoking.
Sure. Look at like guys like that. These
hold on. Remember, your claim earlier was that Americans wouldn't dare, have their arms over each other and smile while taking a picture with the travesty in the background. That's false. They did.
No, and
the reason why they did it, by the way, I don't particularly agree with it, but the reason why they did it was because they wanted to capture a historic moment. Those 5 Israeli men who overstayed their visas did the same thing. They wanted to capture
why would they be redacted, man?
By taking a picture.
Why would the picture of them smiling?
So yeah, I'm not gonna judge this guy for being this fucking stupid, because I'll let's be honest, I was kind of supporting this guy back then because, his message on, black people needing to clean up their act. I resonate with it, okay? So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Friend-enemy distinction's a hell of a drug. Your enemy does something that you're expecting something to do. They beat up on your enemy and you think, you two can be friends, but in actuality, you can't be friends. Perfectly understandable. But this just means content creators like this, and keep in mind, this man has 633 subscribers. They don't do research when covering this type of stuff. Because their mindset, again, is this. It's not this, where they feel like they're surrounded and they have to vet people. It's this. That all the bad people are here and all the good people are here, but the second a bad person does something that kind of looks like they're a good guy, then they blend in over here, despite the fact that they hold all the beliefs from over here for being anti-Semitic. And this is like the biggest weakness for the right. The right has the mindset of this, and the left has the same mindset too, but the biggest weakness of the right is that they're so desperate for any person who identifies as a Christian or identifies as an American, to the point to where a literal neo-Nazi and a pedophile can beat up on your enemy and you think that's your fucking friend. And then what do you think's going to happen when news gets out that you are surrounding yourself with someone like Milo, who has a history of saying some goofy stuff like that? Do you think Milo's going to get the brunt for being a pedophile, or do you think most people are going to associate all Jews are pedophiles because you and other Jewish influencers were hanging out with people like Milo? They're going to label you all pedophiles, and they're just going to call you the Epstein 3.0. Identity politics is one hell of a drug, because, and this is why you shouldn't really be so gun-ho with a person that's like, oh, I'm against pedophilia, because the question you have to ask yourself is are you against it because of the act, or are you against it because it benefits the political opposition? Because that's the type of country that we're in. We're not in a country, nor are we in a space where the act of having sex with a child is the crime. That's not the crime. The crime is it benefiting the political opponent. That's the crime. So someone like Milo left-wing pedophilia doesn't benefit him. Why? Because it benefits mixed race. It benefits the minorities. So he wouldn't support it. But he would support a pedophile who agrees that grown men who are aware of the Jewish cabal need to save the white race because they're running out of options in order for them to save the white race, because you got all these men waking up, but you don't have enough women waking up. So then how are you going to repopulate the white race? You're going to have to start early. You're going to have to start having sex at an early age. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, whatever, in order to save the white race and to repopulate the Aryan population. Identity politics is a hell of a drug. And that goes for me too. Like, just because I'm like, oh, I go against the pedophiles in terms of Muslims, and like I told you guys time and time again, I'm not in it. I don't cater to the white, black. I don't cater to the left or right. Hell, I don't cater to Muslim or Christian. I cater to a neutral position of tackling the actual fucking problem of the violation of bodily autonomy of children. Which is why you don't see me freaking out about a fictional character. The Christian would go to jail in the same fashion as the Muslim will go to jail. The left, right, white, black, don't matter. The act of violating the bodily autonomy of a child, whether it be race, sexuality, gender, political position, or ideology, does not matter to me. The act itself will land you in fucking prison in my mind. And I just wish that our system was like that. But unfortunately, it is not. It is co-opted by people who are not offended by the action itself, but rather, does it support their political agenda? Well, that's it for this video, guys. Just leave a like, leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me if you like this video format better than, me just filming as myself and like giving my opinions and stuff like that. And we'll base it off of that. Until then, take care and be safe, and God bless.